It is my honor to introduce the fierce, fabulous, and unstoppable Karmisha EBK, founder of EBK Events. The annual Fierce, Fabulous, Unstoppable Conference was created and developed by Miss Karmisha EBK, founder of EBK Events. Miss EBK attended Lehman College and received a bachelor degree in business administration and later pursued a master in urban policy. She knew fully that she wanted to make a difference in her community at large. While working on huge community programs, she began to admire the world of event planning and thereafter began planning and organizing strategic, empowering events. As a catalyst for change, Ms. EBK sought ways to improve meaningful relationships amongst women and her male allies. Through smaller networking events, she was successful in creating a dynamic space designed especially for women of color and diverse male groups of men. Past guests to grace her events included Miss America, celebrity chef Winfred Patrick, rap star and entrepreneur Fat Joe, lean back, media raven Andy Smith, and others, while providing support for others, creating jobs and mentorship opportunities. Most recently, EBK Events and MWBE Certified Business won their first contract with the Department of Environmental Protection. Give a round of applause for that. And personally, I cannot finish this introduction without saying that Karmisha EBK has touched my life. I met her in the world of financial services, an underoccupied place in this world. And when I met her, it was a rainy day, it was last minute, and her energy made me feel like there was sunshine outside. And let me tell you, for her to host this for the 5th year means she wants to make a difference. It means she's speaking from the heart. It's because she knows there's an underserved community at large that needs help. And the work starts here with her mission today, and it continues with you. So thank you, Karmisha, for making this happen today. Without further ado, Ms. Karmisha EBK. I'm definitely excited to moderate the conference.
All right, how's everyone doing? All right, I'm excited. Thank you so much for those kind words, Desiree. Desiree and I have known each other for a very long time. As do many of you, my colleagues. I am so grateful and honored to be here with you today. My team is amazing. Give it up to the team. Yes. All right. This has been such an interesting journey. So 5 years in that we've been planning these grassroots community meetings, right? How can we create a space for multicultural women, because the room is vast, right? The room is diverse, and how can we create that space and be organic, right? And really show up. So I'm very pleased and honored to spend and share this day with you, the 5th annual Fierce, Fabulous, Unstoppable. Yes! Yes. And you may ask, why did I choose that name? Well, here's the thing, because women and men, hold up now, we got our men partners, yes? We are fierce. We are fierce when we wake up every morning and we go out and we face the world. We are fabulous because though we have adversities, we still overcome. Right? And unstoppable. Come on now. We had the first African American president. Hello. We're unstoppable as a nation. Right? So that's the reason why I chose that name, and I walk in that vein. Being a grassroots event planner and planning strategic events throughout the community, it takes a certain skill set, right? And I'm very, very grateful for the space I'm in. We were able to win our first city contract last year with Department of Environmental Protection as an MWBE. And of course, we're going to have a few political figures coming later. So there are room for us, and we created those rooms, right? We created those opportunities and was able to bless others. So we are grateful. I am so humble. We have a full day. I know some of you might be a little bit parched. You can have some refreshments. And again, we're going to have a great time. Amazing panel. And let's jump right into the first panel. The first panel is with Eden Lifestyle. Eden Lifestyle is an amazing medical missionary group. They provide a very innovative perspective on health. And of course, we know that health, or your health, is your wealth, right, Ariana? Yes. Yeah, we know that. So they're going to do a dynamic presentation, and that's going to lead into a panel discussion. And of course, we will proceed with other aspects to the day. Thank you for coming out. Let's have an amazing time, and let's be fierce. Thank you.
Good morning to all.
Good morning.
Good morning. I know it's a bit chilly outside and there's not too much sunshine, but I pray that there's sunshine in our hearts. All right? Okay, so this morning, as Commissioner, thank you again for inviting me to be here. Thank you for the privilege of speaking to all of these beautiful ladies and gentlemen. But we will be speaking a little on health. And when we think about health, I'm sure there is a lot of things that could come to your mind. What are some things that comes to your mind when you think of the word health? You think of fitness, maybe you think of peace, maybe you think of, eating the right foods and financial freedom, and the list goes on. There are a number of, words that you could probably think of to describe health, but what really is health? And even when we look at the world that we live in today, when we look at New York City itself, all around us, there are people dying from sickness. We hear of people with heart disease. We hear of people with cancer and diabetes, and people suffering with strokes and Alzheimer's. And maybe we are plagued with these diseases ourselves. So the fact is, we are living in a very unhealthy world. And even when we look at the top 10 killer diseases in America, at number 1, we have heart disease. Heart disease kills over 633,000 Americans every single year. Now, these are just people dying with heart disease. These are not the numbers for people who are currently living with heart disease, or the people who have not even been diagnosed as yet. So there are people dying, and even when we zoom in on those numbers, we have a large number of men, dying from the disease. However, the number of women facing heart disease comes very close to the number of men, almost splitting it half-half. So what does that look like? Over 300,000 women every year dying from heart disease. When we look at cancer, there are over 40,000 women in the United States dying from breast cancer every single year. So the fact is, there is a problem. So what is the solution? How do we find the answer? How do we live a healthy life, even with the healthy environments around us, with everything that we've been facing? Is there really an answer. And to help us to figure out that answer, I want to take you to a place. Let's look at the healthiest people in the world. There is this guy named Dan Woodner. He's a researcher, and he did an extensive research on the longest living people in the world. Would you like to know who these people are?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Yes. So we go to a place called Okinawa, Japan, where people live for very long. There are about 14.6 million people in that specific area. Sorry, 1.3 million people in that specific area, and 740 of these people are centurions, living over 100 years. That is amazing. We don't have these things, especially in 2019. And then we go to a place called Ikiara, Greece, where people are living long, healthy lives. We go to a small community in Costa Rica. These people are living up to 100, and they're not living, up to 100 on walking sticks or whatever the case is. They're living long, healthy lives. They're living full, abundant lives. And then what was startling, in the midst of all of that research, is a group in the United States of America, one of the unhealthiest countries. I believe we placed number 37 on the list of healthy countries. That's pretty far down the line. But in the United States, in a place called Loma Linda, California, there is a group of people living a decade longer than the average American. That's amazing. Now, even when we look at these people living long, healthy lives, there is something that they all have in common. Do you want to know what that is?
Yes.
There's something that all of these people have in common. One is that their culture, their environment, it reinforces a healthy lifestyle through diet and exercise. Another thing that these people pay attention to is healthy relationships, healthy social relationships, psychological well-being, mental health. Another thing that they pay attention to is that they're all community-oriented. So they have a very cooperative spirit. There is very little strife among those people. And one other thing that they pay attention to is that they tend to their garden. So in other words, they're physically involved. They do things to keep them active. You see, 90-year-olds, 95-year-olds still in the soil, gardening. And that in itself is a stress reliever. So when we sum this up, these people, they live healthy lives, healthy long lives, because they follow, specific diets. And I'll talk more about that in a little bit. They focus on exercise. They're very family-oriented, very community-oriented. They keep stress at bay, amen? And they also foster healthy social relationships and psychological well-being. Now, research has found out that every single element that can be found in the dirt, in the soil, can be found in the human body. So they concluded that the scriptural account is not off the mark. Thankfully, we don't have to eat dirt, but the soil, it converts all of the magnesium and the calcium and the iron and every single element that we need for survival and produces it in the form of food so that we could live healthy, happy lives. Now, even as we think about that, like we saw with those people who live the longest, it's not just about what they eat, because you could eat all the healthy food in the world, but you're not at peace with your life and with your surroundings, then guess what? You will still be unhealthy. We are not just physical beings. When you see me, you don't just see hands and feet. You see a person whose brain is functioning to the point that my brain can send signals to say that, hey, this is something that you should say right now. Okay, you shouldn't say that. Okay, maybe you need to speak a little more slowly, or maybe you could go faster. So we're not just physical beings, but we're also mental beings, and not just stop there, but we're also spiritual beings. So the body is not just physical, but mental and spiritual. So even when we look at health, we're not just talking about the things that you eat, But what do you feed your mind with? What do you surround yourself with? Have you done any good today? Did you do something to help somebody else? All of these make up our health and our sense of being. For example, constipation. The average American uses the bathroom once every 3 days. Yes, once every 3 days, the average American uses the bathroom once every 3 days, and that is considered chronic constipation. That's crazy. Now, science tells us that we're supposed to have a bowel movement for every meal that we eat every day. So if you're eating 3 times a day, you need to have 3 bowel movements. And unfortunately, a lot of us fall off that mark. However, I'm bringing up this point to say that persons who are constipated, research shows that they are more angry, they become, more aggravated, they don't think clearly. So how is it that you're telling me that a physical problem, that food staying in my stomach and, being intoxicated, reabsorbing those toxins into my bloodstream, how is it that this physical problem is affecting my mind? Because every single part of us is connected, and I hope you don't miss that point. So, New Yorkers, when you see people driving crazy on the roads or, slamming the door in your face, forgive them because they're constipated. I encourage you, to take a stand, because health is a choice. It does not come by chance. And I pray that you make the choice to be healthy today. And even as I close, if you do want to know how to get started on a healthy lifestyle, you can go to the Eden Lifestyle table and sign up. I will send you a free ebook, a quick start guide on how to live, how to get started on your healthy lifestyle. So be sure to sign up with your email address so you can get that free ebook in your email. So thank you so much for your time. And remember, health is what? A choice. Health is a choice. Let's say that again. Health is a choice. Amen. I encourage you to make that choice.
So actually, speaking of Janae, I think I'm going to start with you. You're right in the middle, all branded. So we noticed, Janae, that your health message seems to be more spiritual. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Yes. So, as I said in my presentation, we're not just physical beings. We're mental and spiritual beings. And not only that, but even when we speak about making lifestyle changes, a lot of the times it's hard to make lifestyle changes. We start, we fail, we try again, we fail again, and we keep failing and failing and failing. So we don't realize that we do need some extra strength, a power that is higher than ourselves to motivate us, first of all, to make changes, and also to realize that these bodies, they're valuable. That we were fearfully and wonderfully made, that we're not just happenstance, but we were specifically put here on this earth, to be healthy and to live an abundant life. So this is the reason that it's, not just focusing on what you eat and how you exercise, but also on a divine power that can help us to actually make those changes and live healthier.
So what are some tips for those dealing with depression? And can you tell us have you had any specific stories, like any positive outcomes from that?
Yes, so like I was saying, everybody's hand in the room should be used. This is something that everybody is touched by in their life, in this country especially, it seems. And there are oftentimes life circumstances that lead people to be in a situation that is something that is discontent within our soul. So it might be the way that we are living is not in line with our true inner selves, and what that can cause a lot of times is an imbalance. So whether that's an imbalance that is something that you feel spiritually, or an imbalance that's actually created by the chemicals in your brain. And that's what can lead to somebody struggling with depression. I deal with this a lot with the clients that I speak with and just people that I relate to in the world. Everybody, again, like I said, is probably touched by somebody that they know or they've dealt with this themselves. And the thing that I like people to understand is I do transformational life coaching, and so I explain to people that the way that you see a person on their best day is not showing all of the struggles that they've come from. It doesn't show all of the life experiences that have led to that beautiful day. And so for someone struggling with depression, what I like them to understand is that every day isn't going to be the day that you wake up and feel the best. And if you have a day that you're waking up and you're feeling like you're struggling under that pressure of the world, really, to know that there are certain skills and strategies that you can utilize to make it through that day, even if you're not feeling your best, knowing that you can lead yourself to a better outcome tomorrow. So just because today is a day that you wake up and you're like, man, I'm really struggling with this today, or you have a family member that you're really trying to help with, talking to somebody, you know, understanding that this can be a day that you might be struggling, but that there's a longer journey that you're really working through, and always talking to somebody is the thing that I recommend for people. Support teams make all the difference.
Absolutely.
Yep.
There is no limit to what we as women can achieve, and I want you to remember that. And I want the men in the room to remember, we need you. We need your support. To diminish stress or strain muscles. Can you give us a few tips on that? Sure.
So pretty much to summarize all of this, whatever the ladies mentioned before, nutrition is important, drinking water, thinking positively, your spirituality, the way you think, and the way you surround yourself with people. So that's pretty much the most important part, because you're affected by people that you surround yourself with. So if you do have a positive environment, then positive things do happen in life. So nutrition is very important also, because nutrition is a work within. So what you eat is what you think, because that's our second brain. It's very well connected. That would be probably second tip. And the third tip, move. If you cannot be in the gym for 45, 60 minutes, a lot of people think that they have to spend an hour in the gym. You don't have to. If you make some small changes of 20 minutes, 5 days a week, perfectly fine. That all goes. And myofascial release. So myofascial release is a release on the muscle where you can release a lot of tensions and stress. And also hurt, which is called stretch therapy, which is what I do. You might experience, I believe, in your body. So that should be summarized. How to feel better, how to feel less anxious, less stressed. And think of it as a tree. So my logo is actually a tree. When I started the business, I didn't know what logo to use. So the tree represents you. You come from the root, how you nourish your body, the water that you drink, the food that you eat, and then upwards. Those are your thoughts. Those are your mental, emotional state of being. So think of you as a tree and grow every day within.
I love that. Thank you. And we are very excited to have our signature speaker here today, Eliza Freud. So welcome, Miss Eliza Freud, to the stage.
All right, hello everyone. So I'm very excited to be here today, and thank you so much for having me. As you just heard, I run a company called She Speaks, and really we started about 10 years ago, and we started with one mission, which was to help amplify women's voices. There was a specific problem where it relates to women and how we are able to master our finances. And what they were finding was that women, as women, we don't really feel empowered. No one really kind of gives us a course on how do you deal with your finances. And so we said, well, why don't we have 250,000 members, as you heard a few minutes ago. And we said, let us ask our community to see what they think, because we think of our women as awesome, women from all across the country. By the way, if you have not joined, you are welcome to join. She Speaks. We do a lot of research and product trials, so we send products out for people to try and give us their honest feedback. So we decided to go out to our community and ask them. And what we found was that women said, look, I understand that taking care of my finances is important, but of all the things that I have to worry about in my life, that is just the thing that always gets pushed to the bottom. And I don't really know where to start. So we decided to partner with Prudential and try to help educate women a little bit more about what are some of the very concrete things that we need to know and that we can do to ensure having a little bit more financial flexibility and having a little bit more comfort with our finances. Are you planning for retirement? The excuses that we all give, I don't have enough money, I don't think I have enough money, why would I even think about saving for retirement? I have children that have to still be taken care of, potentially even paying for them to go to college maybe. That's why I can't save. How people are feeling about their retirement. One, I'm freaking out and I have no plan. Where's the hippie commune? I have a plan, but I'm afraid it won't be enough. I'm looking for my golden girls. I'm on top of my finances and feel totally prepared. Retirement, I'm coming for you. This is information that we put together working with Prudential. The first thing, and you heard this I think in the video, is that women live longer. We live longer than men. And you think, oh, that's awesome, we live longer, that's great. And by the way, as a population in the United States, we are all living longer. So not only are women, not only do we live 5 to 6 years longer than men, but now we live an average couple right now, if you're a man and a woman, and I guess it could be women and women or any couple, there is a 50% chance that one of you will live to over the age of 90. If you are living now and alive, and by the way, if our children, or my children at least, my children are, I guess, they're 10 and 14, they will have a 50% chance that when they get married at some point, they will have a 50% chance that one of them will live over the age of 100. That's how things are going. We're living longer, medicine is better, so we are just living longer lives, and that's a great thing, but the downside is that a lot of us are not prepared for that. We just don't necessarily have enough money. This is just a quick little diagram that shows how your expenses work in thinking about retirement planning. So you have your essential expenses, things like housing, clothing, food, healthcare, transportation, and then discretionary things like if you decide to eat out or any kind of entertainment or any kind of travel. So what they usually say you should do is have your guaranteed sources of income, whether that's a pension, Social Security, or annuities, be the things that cover your essential expenses. And then other sources of income, like if you have a mutual fund, stocks, bonds, CDs, any real estate, some people have real estate, that can help cover your discretionary. So it's just a way, a framework to think about this. I'm happy to share this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer, I have these cards that if you fill one out, if you want to have that free consultation. So thank you very much. I appreciate the time, and hopefully this is some useful information.
So how much would you advise women to save for their retirement, or why should they think that far ahead? Because I know you gave some great tools and resources, but let's get down to the nitty-gritty. How much? Is there such a
Well, the short answer is it's different for everybody, and that's why when we started working with Prudential on this, and that was the first question our community members asked: how much money do I need? I will say one thing that I learned about as I went through this process, and Prudential has really helped us understand this, is we should all have, if we can, 6 months worth of money set aside. Now, I'm not talking about retirement now, just in general, because people get sick. I mean, I mentioned a little bit about that, but things happen in life, and having some comfort of trying to have at least 6 months worth of money set aside is the one thing that they say kind of across the board is really important. Now, as it relates to retirement, it depends. Everybody is different. And the thing that I have also learned from them is no amount of money is too small. So, for example, I might say to them, I have all of these other things. I have to pay for all of these other things in any given month. And how do I know how much money I should put aside? And the bottom line is something is better than nothing. And if you start putting it aside, it does add up. Even if it's $50. Even if it's, if you don't realize it, you just put it away, you put it on the side, and it does start to accumulate. So that's the one thing that, that they have said is, don't think that any amount is too small. Something is better than nothing. And that's why they're also offering that free financial assessment, because that's where they can say more specifically, okay, here's your situation. This is what you should think about me.
Damian Thomas quoted, "The greatest thing money can buy is financial freedom." So I want to get some feedback from Rashad Bilal. He is the founder of Bilal Group LLC. What do you think about that?
I completely agree with it. That's one of the reasons why I love being an entrepreneur. Is of course money, but money isn't everything. But money really affords you the luxury sometimes to have freedom. And me, freedom is the biggest thing in the world for me. So if I want to just go on vacation, I don't have to ask anybody if I want to go on vacation. I don't have to ask somebody if I can, take my son to a basketball game. I can just do whatever I want to do. I can wake up whenever I want to wake up. So obviously there's a lot of responsibilities with that. But to me, everybody's different, but to me, freedom is the most important thing in the world. So that's something that money allows you to do. Money can also trap you as well if you're not careful, but if you keep things in perspective, money can emancipate you.
Money is not my God.
Represent.
So this is one of my trademarks. Money is not my God. And I trademarked it because I would go to conferences, and when people said, how did you leave a job where you're making 6 figures? And I was getting, sometimes $500,000 a year. How could you leave that with uncertainty to do something that, you're passionate about? And I said, because money is not my God, right? So one, I made sure that I had a nest, and I had my nest egg, and I knew I had savings. And the second thing I did was make sure that I knew my priorities. So walking away from $500,000, I knew that God would give me more if I believed and I, stayed the course, and He has. So, it took me 2.5 to 3 years, and then I broke beyond what I was getting paid in the corporate world. So, yeah.
And I want to stick with you. I was just captivated by her shirt, so I didn't even get to my question. I love that. What's the secret sauce? How have you utilized social media and in-person branding to accomplish these goals? And tell us more about, because we've been talking about investing, we've been talking about savings, we've been talking about wealth, but what about the tax side? People don't consider this side enough. I think it's either it's a fear or knowledge or education, but please tell us more.
Okay, those were a lot of questions. So I'll start with
How you built your business.
how I built my
Yes,
business.
let's
So just a little bit of background about me. I started out in corporate. I wanted to have my own company. I wanted to service small business owners. I felt that when people know better, they're able to do better. And it's not the fact that people don't have, people don't want to, build busissises and build generational wealth, but you don't know, right? You need someone to maybe walk you through from point A to point Z to just help you get, to that point. So I started my business, and I met with a client, and we were talking, and I realized that I am not the normal CPA. So I'm a CPA, I'm a certified public accountant, and I noticed that I was not the normal CPA, so I used it to my advantage. And what I mean when I say I'm not the normal CPA, 4% overall between men and women are African American and are CPAs, right? So that was my first advantage. My second advantage was that I was younger, right? And so when I spoke with my small business owners, millennials, or even middle-aged women, they were like, I can connect with you. I can see you. So I started to use that to, pretty much be more of myself, come as me instead of the corporate shell that, everyone wants. And so when I started to show up as myself, and everyone always asks, oh, how did your business grow? I show up. I show up to conferences. I show up on social media. I'm always at a networking event. I'm always collaborating and communicating with people from a client side as well as a mutual I guess, like an investment advisor, right? Or a mortgage broker. Like you need, that's equally important as building your business. And I also don't forget to market. Marketing, I feel, is the #1 key when you're in business, and a lot of people leave it out because it is difficult. Marketing is difficult. It requires you to be consistent. It probably requires a lot of attention to detail and money, but it's necessary. So the second question was more so about taxes, right?
Yeah, just how do you incorporate that into your financial plan?
Okay, so one, I want people to think about, I always tell my clients, taxes is your highest expense between property tax, income tax, sales tax, exercise tax, death tax, gift tax. It's so many taxes, right? But it's the #1 thing that we consistently ignore and not try to find a way to get around. And the reality is the tax code, there are tax codes, so many of them to help you navigate them. But because people are afraid of the IRS, you don't know how many people I get that come into my office and they're like, oh no, I didn't file my taxes for the last like 3 years because I don't want to deal with the IRS. I was like, well, they're dealing with you, right? So you, like, they have your fees calculated on the back end. They did not forget about you, right? So that's key. You know, like you have to think about taxes. I think another issue with, and I'll talk about this a little bit more in my segment later, but a lot of times when it comes to small business owners or just business owners in general, we forget the bookkeeping aspect of it. A lot of people do not know where their company is on a day-to-day. So, you know, from a financial planning perspective, you don't know how much your product really should be or how much your service should be because you're not really calculating, or you don't know how much it's actually costing you to push out this product or to push out this service. And so, you know, my advice would be make sure that your bookkeeping is tight. Do not forget about, you know, about taxes, because so many, let me not say don't forget about it. No one forgets about it. Do not avoid it. do not avoid taxes. And then I would say hire a team of people. Whatever industry you're in, there's a team that you need. And it's important that you have that team, because that team will come with connections, they'll come with information, and they'll save you a lot more money. You know, in the long run, a lot of people are very afraid of saying, okay, well, I may not want to spend this money, you know, right now, but I see cases upon cases where they start paying thousands of dollars just in mistakes to, you know, not pay a couple $100s up front. So that would be my advice.
So for those that know, tax evasion is bad. Okay. Next question.
We will be honoring Issa J. Sutton with Making a Difference Award. It was presented by Preference Graphics and Printing. They're the ones that did the beautiful program that we have in our hands. And we want to honor Issa J. Sutton. She was appointed to Campus Operating Officer, Brooklyn in 2015. In this role, Ms. Sutton handles day-to-day operation and collaborates with all departments to ensure that policies, procedures, and goals of the campus and the college are met. She also works to build and strengthen partnerships with businesses in the community that support internships for students. Give it up for that. I, Eric L. Adams, President of the Brooklyn Borough of Brooklyn, do hereby confer this citation on Issa J. Sutton.
Wow.
Thank you so much for today. Berkeley College, I work at Berkeley College as the campus operating officer. for a little over 7 years now. Berkeley College has 8 locations. I oversee the Brooklyn location, and although we are one Berkeley, I like to say that the Brooklyn location is the best. So shout out to the Brooklyn staff. So we're literally
At this time, we welcome Judge Lisa Utley.
So good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Peace and blessings, because normally on a Sunday morning, a Sunday afternoon, I'm in church giving God the praise and thanking Him for His continuous blessings, because without that, where would I be? So today I'm here sharing and engaging in a conversation with God's creation, the most beautiful women who are fierce and fabulous, and we are unstoppable. Right. I haven't forgotten you, because, you know, sometimes they used to say about there's a woman standing beside that man. Well, there's a man standing beside us as well. So I thank you for being here and supporting the wonderful Karmisha in her vision, because her vision, it's been a work in progress, and as I talk to her occasionally and when she was putting this one together, you know, we have to be there together, just be uplifting and just moving each other forward and not attempting to keep one another behind. Yes. So I want to thank you, Karmisha, for inviting me and providing an opportunity for all of us to come together. EBK is fabulous, and Karmisha's vision will continue to grow with the help of all of us who are fierce and fabulous. It said, great leaders don't set out to be a leader, they set out to make a difference. Karmisha, you set out to make a difference, and I think that you are. It's never about the role, it's always about the goal. So as women, that's where the quote ended, about the goal. So as women, we should remember, helping someone meet their goal is a way to make a difference in the life of that individual. The role you play in helping the next person achieve their goal will and can make a difference. If you play a positive role, you can and will make a positive difference. Support, uplift, and encourage all women to be fierce, fabulous, and unstoppable.
Yes.
I recall speaking to Mr. Adams, and I was like, Mr. Adams, I'm doing this, and I think you guys should support me. And he was always so calm. Karmisha, what do you need? But I must say, from a political standpoint, because sometimes we see politicians, but we don't really see them, right? Yeah. Right. He has always been so consistent, and I so want to thank you for that. So I am very appreciative of you and everyone again that's here today to support us. I'll let you say a few words. Yes, give it up for Mr. Eric Adams.
Thank you so much. I know several people received the procs that we gave out, and just thank you for what you do in a real way. And just 2 notes. Number one, I am sisters are dear to me. And throughout my entire life, it has always been black women who have been there throughout my entire life. When I was arrested as a child, it was black women who were there and nurtured me through that difficult moment. When I was a police officer and they attempted to fire me, the black women filled the courtroom and said, we're going to be with this brother. Sisters used to stop me on the train and just lift me up with prayer. And I wouldn't even know them. They'd place their hands on my shoulders and pray for me, and just allow me to continue to fight. And I'll never forget the day when I was in the midst of 100 blacks in law enforcement who care, and someone pulled up next to my car, called out my name, and shot out the windows of my car. And the next morning, there was around about 40 to 50 black women standing in front of my house. I don't even know how they got my address. But just praying for me. And I'll never forget that, and I'm serious about that. And no matter what I do, I acknowledge the presence of our women. If you come to Borough Hall, you'll see that you see nothing but sisters of color that's running the agency. I pay the women in my office 17% higher than any man. I lead the city. My right hand is a sister, my counsel is a sister, my entire team are, women of color, because, when, you gotta learn from Jesus, man. When Jesus up on that cross, he said, listen, go get married. Cats will leave you and look at you and just dislike your ascension. But, black women would be there by your side, and I appreciate that in a real way. And as I make this transition to the next step, I tell everybody I'm on a 4-payment plan. I sold my mother into slavery as a child, emotional slavery when I got arrested. And my goal is to pay her back in 4 installments. The first installment was when I went from breaking the law to enforcing the law and becoming a captain in the police department. The second installment came when I became a state senator to write the law. The third installment came when I became the borough president of Brooklyn, Chocolate City, in here in America. And the final installment paid in full when I become the mayor in 2021. Is Kathy here?
So Kathy could not make it, but we do have a representative from the National Action Network. Katrina, is she in? Yeah. Oh, hey, Katrina.
Come on up, Katrina. I know the Sharpton's family so well, and I remember as a cop, protecting the family during my off-duty hours. And so on behalf of all Brooklyn, 2.6 million people, we salute Kathy Sharpton for her exemplary leadership she has shown, for being a dedicated community leader. I applaud her for being an influential woman whose major achievements and participation in community activities throughout the year has made a positive and lasting impact. And I commend her for all she has done to make us one city, one Brooklyn. Eric Allen's Brooklyn Borough President. And thank you, Queen, for all that you do, continue to do.
And certainly thank you to Karmisha for honoring Kathy Jordan Sharpton for the decades of work she has done within the community. So on behalf of the National Action Network and certainly Ms. Jordan Sharpton, I accept this award in her honor. Thank you so much.
My name is Sonia Keys. I am a radio and TV personality. I am also a personal brand strategist. I have a background in fashion and beauty as well as skincare. I've worked for companies such as Maybelline, Estee Lauder, West Point Home, to name a few, in digital marketing and e-com. I've also done a lot of brand ambassadorship for companies such as Sephora, Ralph Lauren, BET, 17 Magazine, and a plethora of other wonderful brands that you know of. And I moved here from Maryland in 2013, and my life has never been the same. So I look forward to just speaking on personal branding and things of that nature.
Amazing. She deserves a round of applause. Hello, everyone. My name is Sandra Garcia Lowry, and I coined myself a marketing strategist as well as a brand elevation strategist. So we have something in common. So this is going to be a great conversation. So I've also worked at some really big brands. My background is media sales and marketing before I became a full-time entrepreneur. So I've worked at the Time Warners of the world, CNN Money, People.com. While there, worked on integrated projects with Essence and Style, People en Español, I am Latina, Afro-Latina. So then we also talk about multicultural marketing, right? Because I am dark-skinned Latina. But after my time at the iHeartMedia family, I decided to step out and to run my own business. And I thought that was just going to be more impactful because then I could work with smaller businesses as business owners and help them and to strategize and to also build their businesses, get in front of the people that matter in order for them to get some of this pool of money that these larger companies were going after. And so now I am working with a roster of businesses. My most recent success story is a contract with Google. So this month of June, I can actually speak about it. So I will be representing a partnership between Google and JP Morgan. They're opening an innovation lab in Harlem, and I will be. Yes. So it's actually opening this week. There will be currency conversations on Saturday the 8th. The ribbon cut will be the 14th, and I'll be hosting a kickoff. Well, I'll be announcing the programming that I'll be leading out of Harlem at this new Google Center. So I hope to have a great conversation, but not just that, continue the conversation and then see a lot of your faces in Harlem this summer and beyond.
Yes, I will be there. Round of applause for her.
How have you leveraged your relationship in the industry, in the entertainment industry?
I would say I leverage my relationships by never really being afraid to walk up to anybody. I do not let anyone's stature, title, position, wherever they are, deter me from walking up to them and just say, hi, my name is, because you just never know what that person can do for you, and you never know what you can do for that person. And I believe that I've been in this industry since I was 13 years old as a model in Maryland. And just working in this industry, you get to see the behind the scenes of so many productions, people, businesses, and things like that. And so I believe that just understanding that you allow yourself to be as nervous as you want to be. Like if you want to act like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I'm not there yet to walk up to this person, then you're keeping yourself back and you're holding yourself back. And so in this industry and just being put into it at a young age, it allowed me to not be afraid to just walk up to anybody like, hey, because what's the worst they're going to say? No, not today. And then you keep it moving, and you go to the next person behind them. And that's basically how I honestly found my way on reality TV. I met a lady and we kept in touch, and she hit me up on Facebook like, hey, I have a reality TV show I think you'll be great for. I came in, they loved me, and the rest is history.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That's it.
What is business-to-business marketing, and why is it important? Why is it imperative?
Yeah. So although we're going to speak about B2B, it can also apply to yourself as an individual. So to touch on something that she said earlier, that we're all brands, we all have a name. When someone says, do you know so-and-so? And that initial reaction that people get, they're like, oh yeah, she's from Brooklyn, and I know we went to high school together. That is referring to your brand. So that idea of what people have of you is your brand. And if you're not intentional about what you're building, then people are coming up with whatever. So the first thing I would say is intentionality. So whether it is a business or it is the business of you, because we are all in the business of being.com in 2019, it is a digital world, that you need to be absolutely intentional about what it is that you're putting out there. And intentionality, I would say first knowing, and I don't know if this is
it is. It's weird.
Okay. Knowing who your audience is, whether it's your business audience or your individual personal audience, knowing who your audience is so that you can be intentional about how it is that you're speaking to them, whether it's across platforms or in person. So I would say, like, for example, you mentioned whether you're a cook or if you are in a service-based industry like myself, I am looking to attract other businesses, so therefore I am giving out nuggets on how you can increase your revenue. But I think at the end of the day, it's all the same. It's just how you speak to your audience is different.
Thank you, ladies. Colette B. Smith is also the first African-American female coach of the entire NFL franchise. Wow. Let's give it up for that. Welcome her to the Fierce, Fabulous, Unstoppable Conference. Welcome.
All right, I don't know what's going on with that video right now. Trust me, I'm gonna find a way to get it done.
That's right.
That's what we're doing. First of all, it's an honor to be here at the Fierce, Fabulous, and Unstoppable. I believe in being unstoppable. I'm loving Saya. Did I pronounce your name right? Saya? Sana. Going out in those groups and social media actually was the reason how I got my position with the New York Jets to be their first coach in franchise history. saying that bleep works. Right? I'll tell you that. So a little bit about that. I started in football at the age of 42 years old. Right, so I played pro football for a women's team called the New York Sharks, and I proudly have them tattooed on my body because they fulfilled my mind and my inner strength. So I started playing football when I was 42, and I didn't think I was going to make the team.
How old are you? 43?
The more you drink, the better I look. Thank you. So at 42, I started playing pro football, and I remember I was literally sitting on my couch, smoking a Newport, drinking a 40 ounce. It was cold too. It was a cold 45. Maybe 3 to 4 minutes. But I worked the real estate market in New York City, and I was a top broker for a top firm called Halstead Property. And I went in there like a wrecking ball, unstoppable and fierce and fabulous. And I told them what I wanted. I demanded things of them, and I got new developments. You have real estate brokers that were trying to get one condo, one co-op, one brownstone to sell. I wanted the whole damn building. So I made that happen. And the market had crashed. And interestingly enough, I was used to being accustomed. If you can't tell, I'm energetic. I'm like, I'm either asleep or I'm wide awake. And so I found that the market had crashed, and I found myself having more time on my hands. And I wasn't used to that. It's not how I operate. It's not how I was raised. And that's when I was smoking a cigarette, drinking a 40 ounce on the couch. And I was messing around the computer, and I came across women's pro football. And I surely was like, this has got to be an error here. Maybe I drank too much of this beer, because I was told I wasn't allowed to play when I was, 10, 11, 12 years old. Today they can't tell you that. You can't play because you're a girl. I'll sue somebody. I'll get honorable judge right here. I stand here not just as a woman, but a proud black woman that tackled these naysayers in a full onset blitz with deep field man coverage. Life is not a level playing field, but I'm proud knowing that I leveled some of it. Isaiah 54:17. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Change gonna come. And it continues with you and with me. It's God driving me in the direction in which He wants me to go. He is my road map. He is my navigation system. And I'm on autopilot. My living shall not be in vain.
That's right.
And you all here today, your living shall not be in vain. This is why Karmisha made this happen today. For us to grow, for us to learn from each other, for us to be kind to one another, for us to support each other, for us not to judge each other. I'm a servant warrior. I'll continue doing His work on this earth. He brought me out of my darkness and into my light, and I say with all due respect, when you let your own light shine, others will do the same. So I want to just leave you with a couple phrases. Make tomorrow better today. Make tomorrow better today. It ain't over. It's the start of the second half. It's the start of the second half. New half, baby. Believe in you. Thank you very much. That's funny. Thank you. Thank you.
First, I just want to say congratulations to Karmisha for putting together this conference. This conference helps so many women right here in New York City. So thank you for allowing God to use you in this capacity to do such great things. I want to tell you all to give yourself a round of applause for being here, for investing into this vision and into yourselves. As mentioned, my name is Farrah Lewis. I am Councilwoman-elect for the 45th Council District in Brooklyn that represents Flatbush, East Flatbush, Flatlands, Marine Park, Ditmas Park, a little bit of Canarsie. This mic playing around. Okay.
The base of the mic.
There we go. So, as mentioned, I'm the Councilwoman-elect. I was elected on May 14th in my district, and I am just humbled and honored that folks in my district would want me to represent them in the city council. I'm going to be very brief because I actually have to go run to an event in the district, but I wanted to share just a little bit of my journey, as some of the wonderful women on this panel will be sharing about their experience, whether it's community, media, marketing, and other various fields. I started off as a journalist. I was that young girl who wanted to be the next Oprah, Barbara Walters, so on and so forth. I love to tell other people's stories. I grew up as a Haitian American young woman living right here in Brooklyn, seeing my mom struggle, but also seeing her as a social activist, working with 1199, always going to DC and Albany and fighting for rights. And I remember her always saying, do you want to come with me or do you want to go to school? What do you want to do? Do you want to go fight for our rights or do you want to go to school? And I'd be like, yeah, let's go. And I was always I always admired my mom because she was just so passionate about helping other people. She loved to serve, and I get a lot of my qualities from my mom. I love to serve God and serve people. That's always been something that's been very important to me. So now I get to serve a whole district. Starting off as a journalist, I saw myself fighting for other people because I didn't like to see people suffering in silence. I didn't like to see people suffer. So that's why I decided to run for office. Journalism was the pathway that led me into organizing, working with my community. And then from there, I couldn't find a job in journalism. I was always taking these little $20, $50 jobs. We didn't have social media at the time, because if we did, I would have been caking and making a lot of money. And I would have been a reporter. But opportunity came my way. I ended up working for a local council member. His name is Jamani Williams, who's now a public advocate. And give him a round of applause for giving a young black girl in Brooklyn an opportunity. I didn't have any experience in politics, but he loved the fact that I knew stuff about branding, and he knew that I love media. So he was just like, do this press conference and do that press conference. And I was always, that's why you saw him on TV all the time. I always knew how to do that. And then I just became really passionate about it, and then eventually, worked my way up the ladder in politics and ended up running for office when the seat became available. And I believe that God called me for such time as this, to run for the seat, to represent my district, to represent the people, and I'm fully committed to serving the people in my district. I don't know what the journey lies ahead, but what I do know is I'm at the right place at the right time to do the things that I'm doing. And Colette spoke to my heart. Some of the things that she shared reminded me of myself. There was no platform where women would support women and mentor and sponsor women. So that's why I decided, you know what, I'm going to step in the gap where women wouldn't be supporting women. I did that. If Karmisha approached me for something, I tried to the best of my ability to help her, or any other women that approach me. I always want to stand in the gap because I remember I didn't have it. So I say all that to say, stand in the gap for someone, support one another, continue to do the phenomenal work that you're doing. Ladies, hope you have an amazing panel. God bless you all and have a great weekend. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Praise the Lord, first of all. And I just want to thank everyone here for coming here this afternoon. And also, just to let you know a little bit about me, I don't want to bore too many people, but I've actually been a community advocate for 48 years. So you can guess my age. Yes, I'm 21, I'll take that. I'm actually involved in a lot of different things. I'm across the city, and one of the things that I do is I try to advocate for other women as well. I do a lot of mentoring, entrepreneurship, and also I am the proud CEO of Power Women and Community Building, something that I do very, very well. Also, I'm also the CEO of Healing Hearts Chaplaincy. I serve on Brooklyn Hospital as their chairman. I'm the 79th Precinct Community Council President, 29 years. And also, I'm on a lot of professional women's organizations. So I'm very, very familiar with the branding and just getting out there. And when Karmisha asked me to come in to be a speaker, I told her that I would, most definitely. But I had a very trying week. I actually was in the hospital twice this week, and I wasn't too sure whether or not I was going to make the event. But as God was set fit, I'm here, and I also do a pantry whereas I feed hundreds of people every Sunday. So I'm very, very involved. Community is my life. This is what I love to do, and I still hold a full-time job. I work for sanitation in procurement. Oh, wow. Okay? So I'm a key figure right there. Okay.
Now I know.
All right, so with that said, I'm going to pass it down because, you know, we're fit for time, right? Set for time, okay? Any questions? I have business cards, everything. You can see me after.
Hi guys, thank you for having me once again. My name is Raquel Coco Mills, Coco being my design name. I am a fashion designer, New York-based fashion designer, and most recently an aspiring actress for the past 3 years. I'm actually writing a book, or in the process of writing the book, where, sorry, I'm a little nervous. It's called Becoming a Woman, The Basics, and it's basically touching on everything from hygiene to basically dealing with our emotional health, mental health, and everything like that. And it's geared towards foster children, because I was a foster kid and I grew up in the system. So, and a lot of girls slip through the cracks, you know, and they're not raised properly. So my book is basically teaching a female what they're supposed to learn from their mom from day one. Because a lot of us don't have our mom, sorry. So yeah, that's what I'm doing as far as like the book.
Safe place, for sure. You are beautiful.
Hello. Hi everyone. Hello. I'm just gonna pretend because I don't know what's going on with this mic right now. I am Angeliqua McNair. I am the founder of Melanin on Wall Street. It is a professional women organization that connects powerful women of color in the corporate world.
Yes,
We have 9-to-5 jobs who are career women, whether it's law, finance, banking, and stuff like that. I am also, as of recently, the CEO of a luxury kids spa called Fancy Spatacular. By day, I am a legal professional. I am the senior paralegal of an amazing top law firm in Wall Street, and I handle all the trials. Karmisha, thank you for having me today. I love the whole event and everything like that. And we can, I guess, start your panel.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Why is it important for community organizing and especially business owners to integrate with the community?
Oh, yeah, it's
He's fixing mine.
okay, well, I speak loud. It's very, very beneficial as a business owner to get in and know what your community is all about. Whether you're a business owner, whether you are doing something different, it's always good to know what your community is all about. Because I wear so many different hats, as a precinct council president, my whole focus is making sure that the community is safe and making sure that the officers do their job. Okay? That's the most important thing. As a former member of the DBNA, which is the doing business with the businesses, I saw the need where the businesses needed to communicate with the community. That's how you make your money.
That's how you know your community. Okay? You can't open up a business and do no networking. Don't know your community. How you gonna stay in business? I see businesses each and every day closing their doors. Okay? The rents, especially on Fulton Street, is at least $5,000. Okay? And for black people that own business, that's rough. That's really, really rough. So one of the things that I do as a community advocate, I go out, I meet with the businesses, I support the businesses. Okay? I go to a lot of community affairs. Judge Otley knows me for many years. I supported her on her campaign. I'm out here. I'm in the trenches. Okay? I don't just stay in Brooklyn. I go all citywide. Okay? I opened up a chaplaincy because I was teaching chaplaincy for many years. But I saw that there was a need for the chaplaincy in the communities because it's our people that's up in those jails, and we need to make sure that we have representation up in there. You understand? So one of the things that I do is that I train chaplains. I train people to go into the prisons, train people to go into the hospitals, train people to take care of hospice people. Okay? We all have someone in our families that are going through this. Okay? As a foster parent for 30 years, I raised over 100 children. Okay? Yes. Because I saw that there was a need. And I took care of teenagers. My house was a house for teenagers. So they was in trouble. You know they was in trouble, right? All right. So basically, I've actually helped and assisted so many people. That is what my calling is. That's what my ministry is. Outreach ministry. Okay? So when I was hearing the stories about Miss Smith, about some of the other young ladies and stuff like that, I know those stories. I've actually worked and counseled people through those stories and helped people. Okay? I'm going to tell you this here about a funeral. I attended someone's wedding, husband and wife. 6 months later, the husband kills the wife. The husband kills the grandson. Next thing you know, I'm going to a funeral with 2 caskets there. The guy's funeral, of course, could not be publicized. He ended up killing himself. We are living in trying times. Mental illness is one of the key things that we have to pay attention. People are flipping, people are losing their jobs, people are going through so much. But I'm just letting you know is that I am here for the people. I was with Stacey Abrams a couple of weeks ago. She's doing a big movement. You know, she had a couple of death threats. Okay, when she comes here to New York City, we try to make sure that she has the best protection, and we're gonna be working on some really serious things. But I'm just going to I don't want to be too long-winded because I'm not a long-winded person. But I have business cards. I have a hell of a lot of knowledge for whatever. Because I work in so many different circles, okay? I work very closely with the district attorney's office, okay? I work with a lot of the politicians. I think every politician pretty much knows Dr. Kim Best in New York City, okay? So, and if they don't, they should, okay?
With that tips to break into the industry as a black designer. Any tips?
Okay, so the first thing, the first thing you need to do, I know it sounds cliche, but social media is your best friend, okay? Instagram will get you lit, get your brand out there, but this is the thing, everyone is so focused on celebrities, so you just have to find a celebrity to wear your clothes, and then from there you can basically do whatever you want.
Challenges as a young woman, as a young black woman, what are some of your challenges?
I think some of my challenges is one is keeping a set of keeping a set schedule for each component that I do.
Yeah.
The second one is multitasking every facet that I do. And then the third one is taking time for myself.
Oh, yeah, right. What is your take on that? Should women discuss salary? Is it a wise choice? What is your take on that?
I think that's a good deal. I think that women, we should definitely network and discuss salaries. That's very key.
I definitely agree that we should speak about it, only because how I started my business, I would have never started my business if I would have continued at an internship that I had that was doing $90,000 worth of work for free
And I had a conversation on my lunch break with this young lady, and she was just like, you know that we're looking for a tech designer, right? I was working at Almost Famous as an intern. And she's like, yeah, you're doing the tech designer's work because he quit, but you're doing it for free. Won't you ask them, can you fill the position? So I went to the head of Almost Famous, and I was like, you know what, I've been here for a while, I'm an intern, I know I'm an intern, but I'm doing the work, why not just hire me? I already just graduated, you know, hire me. And he's just like, no, we're not looking for a tech designer right now. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm doing tech designer work and I'm not getting paid for it. So if I didn't have that conversation on my lunch break with that young lady, I would have never quit. I literally quit Almost Famous and started my company. Wow. And I would have never did that if I didn't have that conversation. So yeah, it might be a little, you don't want to come off like you're bragging, oh, like I make this much, or what do you make? Or what is it called? Pocketbook shaming. So it can come off like that, but no, it's informative. I definitely agree with you.
Yeah. So Dr. Bess, I will ask if you don't mind that you bless this audience as we close.
Okay, let us stand.
Amen.
Let us hold hands.
Amen.
Dear Heavenly Father, we give thanks for today. Dear Heavenly Father, bless all those who are here for traveling mercies to their homes. Dear Heavenly Father, we wish many, many more success and events going forward. And dear Lord, we ask this in your favor. Amen. Amen.
I just want to share something before we all depart. I just want to share something really quick with you all because I feel like we can share. On February 28th, I lost my grandmother. Ruth Phillips, she was my muse. She was the patriarch of our family, for sure. The matriarch of our family. And more than anything for me, she supported everything. She supported who I am. Who you see today is because she has planted the seeds many years ago. I stand here on her back because it has been such a tumultuous journey planning this initiative, knowing that I am broken. But I say this to say today I feel so complete, and I know my purpose so well and so defined because my grandmother is blessed us, even as I stand here today. And I just thank you all because you understand the power that you guys give to me and to bring me through this season. So this program was in honor of her. Her name was